Hello everyone. I hope you're doing good tonight. I just been looking into, thinking about the Delphi murders, and two little girls, Abby and Libby, were killed by somebody that followed them 5 years ago, and now they arrested a new guy. But the thing of it is, I question the new guy, Richard Allen. I'm not saying that he couldn't have something to do with this, but I truly don't believe that he's the guilty person. I believe that the guilty person, they found him and they knew who he was from the beginning. And so I want to just show you some things to prove my point. Now, I don't know this Richard Allen, and I think it's really interesting that the police have not, they won't give any information about the arrest warrant, and that's really strange. Even lawyers have said that's really strange, and they're still looking for other suspects. And so it's strange to me. Now, I felt really bad for Abby and Libby, and I've looked over this case, but I didn't really get into it heavy like I did with Summer Wells and Suzanne Morphew. But the thing of it is that I feel that the person that they initially thought did this is the person who did this. I think that maybe they seen those, those pictures of those guys that they seen on the tracks. But the thing is that I'm having a hard time. It's like I feel inside my soul somehow that Richard isn't the guy. Maybe he is the guy. I don't know what they have on him right now, what any evidence is against him. I know that he lives in that area somewhere. I know that he works for a pharmacy. He's a pharmacy tech. I know that I heard that he has a family, a wife and a family. And so I'm trying to think. So all of his neighbors, everyone around him says he's a good guy, right? So it's really shocking to them. And the thing of it is, I wonder how he had the opportunity, this Richard Allen, to commit this crime. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know the details. But, he's got to walk there too, which would take him, somebody did the timing, and it would take him 30 minutes, half hour to walk from his house to the bridge, and then, to where they were. And so, that's why I'm having a hard time, because when I show you some of these videos, and I'm going to try to piece this together to show you why I don't think it's Richard Allen. But, another thing is that I'm trying to figure out how this guy, what, was he at work that day? Did he, I don't know. It was a bloody mess, and he would have had to clean up, and he would have had to come home to his family. I mean, did he have to work and leave, go commit this crime, then come back? I don't know. I really don't. So everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But, you know, I heard Gray Hughes, which I wasn't very thrilled with him. I tried to listen to his video, and he said, all the crackpots, I still think it's Ron Logan. Well, why couldn't it be Ron Logan? I heard a police investigator, excuse me, producer, working with crimes, excuse me, and he said that he worked with, you know, law enforcement, and he was on a podcast with other police officers the other night. Excuse me, I gotta get a drink, I'm sorry. My throat's so dry. So anyways, he said that he wrote a book called, you know, The Forest, Can't See the Forest Beyond the Trees, or whatever, Forest Beyond the Trees, because I do believe that you were looking right at him from the minute that this started. And I don't know why they had to have so many different people arrested in this case. Like, I mean, how can you have so many different suspects? I'm glad, like, that Keegan Kline, that he got caught for his pornographic stuff. If Richard Allen, maybe he's involved in something else. That's, I don't know, maybe he knew these girls, but I know he knew them from the pharmacy, but probably seen pictures, but who knows? I'd like to see what kind of evidence comes out on him and what they're going to produce, because I don't know, seems like these police over there, excuse me, wow, have just been finding all these different suspects, like they're grasping for straws in this. And, you know, the man that I'm going to talk about, Ron Logan, he lived only 1,400 feet away from where the bodies, they found them, right, the girls, right on his property. So, and I'm going to show you different things tonight here, and I want you to, you know, really think about this and consider this, okay? I've heard people say he was an old man, but he had a lot of energy. I mean, he seemed to get around pretty good to me. He had a farm with animals, and you don't have a farm with big, heavy cows and getting your animals around with not being able to do it. He could do it. So, anyways, Ron died, and of COVID, I think in the spring or last spring, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was this past spring, but, you know, if he had nothing to do with this, well then, you know, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, you know. These are my opinions only. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But I really believe that Ron Logan was a suspect. It's just my opinion in this case. And I think that they should have just went further with this. I really do. So I gotta show you a few things, okay? I want to show you a few things from this video, and I hope she doesn't mind, or he, but they did say to share their video, like and share, and so I'm sharing part of this with you, and hopefully you'll go over and subscribe to some of these channels, because like this one I thought was really good. It's called Mind Shock. But I'm just going to show you some parts from this, so listen to this, okay? Oh, credit goes.
Cases, wrongful convictions, and more.
Okay, listen.
Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Patrons do get priority for case time.
I gotta get it.
When I heard shopping at Rakuten earns you cash back on top of holiday deals, I thought, that can't possibly exist.
Well, it does.
Yes, it does, my mythical friend.
Sorry.
Yes, it does. Wonderful, Charlie. Love the ribbons.
What if someone builds a new metaverse inside the metaverse? Wondering when I should start construction for the Kikiverse.
Sorry.
If rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. All right, let's jump right into this new information brought forth within the past few weeks regarding Ron Logan court documents and more. So let's go to WTHR.com. FBI agent believed clothing taken and bodies staged in Delphi Murders search warrant request. And just real quick, again, for those that just have a hard time believing that the bodies weren't there and that they were either killed later or possibly killed around the same time but elsewhere and then brought back. I mean, staged means that the crime scene was not natural as the crime unfolded. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't take place where the bodies were found and staged, but it could mean that, particularly when you take into account the thermal imaging drone, the fact that they weren't found when both sides of the creek were searched by multiple people, and then afterwards someone was directing people away from searching that area where the bodies were ultimately found. The magically appearing shoe and other clothing that was not found the previous day. I mean, all of this just weirdness, that it just points away to the bodies being there. I mean, this is wintertime, there's no leaves on the trees, you can see that general area. Obviously, screams would have been heard with the supposed amount of people that was out on the trails that day. I mean, people have reenacted sound tests. I mean, piercing screams in the middle of the day, especially that day when it was unseasonably warm and there was a lot of people out. It just doesn't seem to add up. Just based on all available information, it seems like they were not killed at the time that most people think, and that their bodies were not where they were ultimately found for many, many hours. Now, there were screams reported in the middle of the night. What was it, 1 or 2 a.m. or something? And I don't know, nobody knows what that was. But anyway, let's continue with the article here. This was posted May 17th.
Okay, listen. I have to stop it for a minute. I want you to notice something here. He wears... Ron, I noticed in a lot of his interviews, he wears a hooded jacket, a hooded sweatshirt under his jacket. Here, he has a hooded jacket, hooded sweatshirt, sorry, under his jacket, okay? Notice the bend in his hat. Notice the bend in his hat. Okay, it looks like the same pin. If you look, there's a reflection over on this side. It looks like the same exact pin that's up here, this emblem up there, okay? Check that out, all right? I'm going to try and back it up, but there's like a emblem on the hat. Maybe you can do it. But anyways, notice the camera right here. You see why his hat, I think his hat's bent, because look at that, that is a GoPro. That is a GoPro. And another guy did a blow up of this and got rid of all this stuff. I seen it on YouTube. And he showed how this GoPro was there. And I think that the girls were staged so that they could do, this guy could do the videotape. I want you to notice something else. This guy does not have a goatee, but he does have a mustache like this. Trying to, okay? To me, that looks like this guy without the glasses. Same kind of hat, camouflage hat. Bet. Wears hooded sweatshirts. Okay, I'm going to go on with this, okay. What if the girls were taken down the hill and weren't, were placed there maybe he took them to his house. I mean, this guy lived so close that he could have took them to his house. Okay? And he could have did something there, and then, or in one of his barns, and then took him over there, but I doubt it. I truly doubt it, because people were out looking. So what I do believe, though, is I believe that it did happen there, but I think they were staged. So that camera right there could videotape the whole thing. Okay? That's what I believe. But let me go on from there. Okay, listen.
2022. Earlier in the Delphi Murders investigation, an FBI agent believed a possible suspect in 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German's deaths lived at a property near where their bodies were found.
Yeah.
Court documents released by the Murder Sheet podcast detail a search warrant request made March 17, 2017. The request is to search the home of Ronald Logan, which is 1,400 feet from where the bodies of Williams...
Not very far at all.
You know what's kind of weird? Didn't the early reports state that this was his actual property where they were found?
Yeah.
So they want to search the home. So is this technically his property? So his home is 1,400 feet from the bodies, which are on his property, allegedly? In citing reasons for the search warrant, the FBI agent noted that pieces of clothing from one of the victims were missing, and that it appeared the girls' bodies were moved and staged. There were no visible signs of a struggle or fight. That's another interesting piece of information that a lot of these coincidence theorists who, for whatever reason, they're very religiously devout about the girls being killed where they were found. I don't know why, but there's this religious fervor. And
okay, listen though. Remember the bridge guy said, guys, down the hill. Guys sounds to me, he's either talking on a radio with someone, like on a cell phone, or he, how do we know if he didn't say to those girls, maybe he's seen them girls before, maybe not. But what if he said, there's a hurt deer down there, you want to go see it, guy, down the hill. But to me, he's either telling them to go down the hill, or he's talking to someone that's going to meet him down there. So the police need to think that way, not just the other way, okay? And I made the suggestion is that maybe they really did know him. I mean, maybe they seen him around before. We don't know. So, anyways, let's continue.
Anti-science sentiment going in, again, just trying to dismiss the thermal imaging drone, trying to dismiss any and all searchers who searched that exact area. I mean, it's really weird. But here, it's stated very clearly, no visible signs of a struggle or fight. Let me repeat that again for the Dunning-Kruger crowd. There were no visible signs of a struggle or fight.
So, he had a gun and told him to get down the hill. And then whatever he did, whether he tied him up and then raped him, whatever weapon he used, easily could have told them, guys, down the hill. He could have pulled out a gun at a different point, and she didn't get that part when they were walking down the hill. I do find it interesting. What I want to say is, the bridge, when they went across the bridge, they were almost to the very end, which is right by Ron Logan's property, the end of that trail. So I just think it's weird, the location. Okay, so let's go on.
The agent suspected a souvenir had been taken by the killer and that it was common for perpetrators to memorialize the crime scene with pictures. FBI agent said investigators did recover fibers and unidentified hairs at the crime scene.
Which, listen, unidentified hairs. What if it's hairs from Ron Logan's dog? What if it's hair from his carpet? Did they check that? I don't know.
27-year-old Ron Logan.
Changes.
Of course, we gotta have a commercial. Hold on. Okay.
Logan appeared to be in physical condition.
See, that's what the FBI said.
Was not inconsistent with that of the voice captured on German's phone.
Did you hear that? The FBI agent said his voice was not inconsistent, so that means that his voice could have been his on the bridge.
Agent also confirmed that video on German's phone was actually 43 seconds long. Also, again, some just really think Ron Logan looks exactly like the bridge guy. But again, if it was somebody like Kurtz who was intimately familiar with Logan's property, he could have worn, or whoever, some people think Ashley Garth.
I'm going to show you something else right here. If you look at the bridge guy, look at his round chin. Look at his round chin right there. Look at that. Just look at his chin. Look at the bridge guy. Look at his mustache. His nose. Okay. He also, remember this, he has a fanny pack on. Okay? Which, when I seen it blown up, it looks like he had a gun in that fanny pack. Okay? So, it looks like a GoPro in that hat like that other guy showed. And this looks like a fanny pack that he's wearing. And he walks his dog. This is his property. And he walks his dog all around there. Okay? So, let's continue on.
His bridge guy, and it's not a male. But anyway, they could have worn his clothes to frame him. I mean, why would he... I mean, it's kind of weird. Why would he dump the bodies on his own property?
He didn't even have a goatee. You can tell he didn't have a goatee. He's got a rounded chin, exactly like Ron's. Again, once again. Look at his chin. That's Ron. Okay, so here we go.
The bodies being discovered. Logan allegedly asked the relative to say they drove to a Lafayette aquarium store at a time that matched when Williams and German went missing around 2 p.m. A receipt found in Logan's home showed a checkout time of 5:21 p.m., and the FBI agent noted the store was approximately 30 minutes from Logan's home. The agent said Logan's statement about his whereabouts were found to be factually false and intentionally designed to deceive law enforcement officers. You know what else is weird? Early on, all those press conference information...
Listen. Very carefully to this part. Listen.
Supposedly this was just a guy whose alibi had to be broken. Are they talking about Ron Logan? Were they talking about Ron Logan this entire time? The FBI agent said the relative believed the original image of the suspect looked like Logan.
See?
A woman who had been in a relationship with Logan years earlier told law enforcement that Logan had been physically abusive.
Physically abusive.
Threatened that he could kill her and no one would find her body.
Isn't that nice?
And that Logan carried a gun with him everywhere he went in a fanny pack.
In his fanny
pack. She told the agent that when she first saw the image of the suspect, she thought it was Logan. So that's two people, friends and or
two people so far,
girlfriends, who think it's Ron Logan. Now we have woman number 3, another woman
See?
Been in a relationship with Logan, told law enforcement that when she heard bodies were found near Logan's home, she believed he was involved. So not necessarily seeing the image, but just from hearing that bodies were found on the property, she I guess, wouldn't put it past Logan. The FBI agent noted that a search of a tip database about a month after...
I don't think he's a nice old guy like you think, like people think.
The murders had 15 tips connecting Logan to the murders. And you know what else would be curious? We don't have this comparison. How many tips were on Kurtz or Garth or any of these other POIs, like Chadwell? Were 15 tips the most amount of tips going towards a single individual? Because, I mean, that's, you know, those kinds of...
That's quite a bit.
You know what the average amount of tips for the average POI was. It's, I mean, 15 is obviously more than 1 or 2. I mean, that's not 0. That's quite a bit of tips. Quite a bit of people think it's him. The FBI agent also claimed that text messages sent to and from Logan's phone the evening of February 13th, 2017 showed he was likely outside his home and in the proximity of where Liberty German and Abigail Williams' bodies were located. The agent noted that Logan had been physically able to get up and down the hill from his home to the crime scene, where he met with officers on February 17th. The agent was specific that they believed Logan could be involved in the murders. I believe there is probable cause to believe that... So this is a quote.
You know what blows my mind is that the guy asked for an alibi from his buddy at the exact time that Abby and Libby, this is happening to them. He didn't say, I need an alibi for the whole day. He specifically said that window of time. And he lied to the police because his buddy must have went there for him or picked him up later on because the receipt was for 5 o'clock. But what amazes me is that this was the day before the girls were even found, that he asked for an alibi. Strange. They're just looking around. That's why I think that Ron did this. Okay.
Agent here. I believe there is probable cause to believe that Ronald Logan has committed the crime of murder, and evidence of that could be found on Ronald Logan's property, end quote.
So, of course, they use this in the arrest warrant, and they have to give the reason why they want, not the arrest warrant, but the, the search warrant. In order to do a search warrant, you know, they got to go through all this stuff and say why they believe, you know, that he should be the suspect, and why they think he should be searched, okay?
The FBI got permission to search the entire property, including Logan's home, garage, his pickup truck, computers, and cell phones. A previous search of Logan's home on March 6th for a parole violation noted he had numerous weapons, including handguns and knives.
See?
Logan died in 2020 and was never officially named a suspect in the Delphi murders.
So 2 years ago.
Any conclusion based on the document would be inappropriate because the warrant is just one sliver of a complicated puzzle, said ISP Superintendent Doug Carter. Solving the cases is important to...
Of course.
You gotta see him freshly sliced.
Now I'm going to skip up a little bit because I want to show you something else.
The case is as important to us now as it was 5 years ago. Now, would he say something?
Now, okay, we want to go...
I-Team 8's archives has an interview with Logan in the days after the girls were found. Quote, Monday afternoon I was in Lafayette Aquarium World getting tropical fish for my aquarium, so when I came home, one of the neighbors asked for permission to come back here and search for the missing girls. And that's the first time I heard anything about it, Logan told News 8 in February 2017. So, I fooled with my tropical fish the whole time the search was going on Monday night, but then they didn't find them around Tuesday until noon or 1 or whatever it was. End quote. You know what's weird, though? I mean, okay, he's 77, but still, is it or is it not weird that he didn't assist for the search that was going on his own land?
I know.
So he's just playing with the fish indoors. Now, if he doesn't think it's serious, I guess if he doesn't think it's serious, I don't know. Investigators believe Logan asked his cousin to lie and tell police he drove Logan to an aquarium store in Lafayette on the afternoon of February 13th, 2017. Police would eventually arrest Logan for violating his probation on charges of DUI and driving on a suspended license. He appeared in court March 13th on that charge. The next day, March 14th, an Indiana State Police spokesperson tweeted, "Reports connecting Ron Logan to Delphi murders is false. Probation violation, no connection to murder investigation."
Well, I know.
However, in a search warrant filed 3 days later, March 17th, an FBI agent wrote, "I believe there is probable cause to believe that Ronald Logan has committed the crime of murder, and evidence of that can be found on Ronald Logan's property."
See, this is what they said about him.
This is why all these authority-worshipping cultists, like these Dunning-Kruger goofs that just worship whatever they hear on the idiot box, a lot of times it's wrong. A lot of times what's reported on...
Okay, let's go. I gotta go up here a little bit.
Other did. So, or are they simply going down different avenues?
And they just had so many, they, got so many different suspects. It's really weird. Okay, now I want you to watch him walking. And you tell me that this is not the guy, okay? I'm telling you, this is the guy. Listen. All right. I also want you to notice his pants. How they bunch up at the bottom. And I'm going to show you something else, okay? Just hold on here and just pay attention.
His property and inside while the perpetrators did their thing.
Okay, so...
But just trying to think outside the box, I guess. So would that be Ron Logan on the video? Would that be Ron Logan's voice?
Down the hill.
See?
Down the hill. Down the hill. Down the hill. Down the hill.
And yet he was not the one who physically murdered them. But he knew it.
Oh, yes, I believe so. I believe he did.
Another interesting point that people have made a big deal about in the past is who could walk that sketchy bridge.
Now watch him walk.
The Monon High Bridge.
Look at his lip. It's exactly. Don't even look at his face.
Would it be the guy that lived right there?
He's walking with the gate. He's got bunched up jeans, though they're not the same ones. The other ones have holes. But look at...
I mean, I don't think enough has been mentioned about that. Who would be more comfortable walking that bridge?
Just look at that gate.
I mean, maybe
it's exactly the same. He can't even hide it.
One of the guys that, people that walk the trail every single day.
Okay.
But if we're gonna, Ron Logan's right there. How many times, does anybody know how many times Ron Logan has crossed that bridge?
Probably a lot.
Some people reference that Tony Klein might have possibly hunted on...
I don't believe it. I don't.
Oh, if Liberty German was planning on going to
I think he did this by himself, unless he had maybe his cousin or buddy.
Ron Logan called his cousin was 9:20 a.m. on February 14th, so a number of hours before the bodies were found. So, this is a post by Calm Yourself, Ayago.
No, I need to move up here. Just gonna play this part again. Well, it's coming on here again, so I just want you to see this again.
Him to see if he interacted with the other guilty parties.
Fried rice.
Stir-fried noodles. Oh, hey.
On him to see if he interacted with the other guilty parties.
Okay, now watch.
An interesting post here by Upbeat Business, 3371. There are too many similarities between Ron Logan and Bridge Guy to dismiss. Exact same bill. Ron Logan is seen wearing several items during his TV interview.
And he has a bunch of blue coats, too, they said.
Guy's clothes. Same color hat with the same dent in the same place.
Yes, that's...
His shoes are very similar as well.
Well, he's got boots on there, but...
almost exactly like what Bridge Guy was wearing, and he even had the collar flipped up a bit like Bridge Guy. His jeans are almost identical as well. Even
well, the baggy...
Logan's walk and the limp.
It's exactly...
creepy. The more I watch the interview,
it is so creepy. I'm telling you, that is his walk. And he holds his head down like that because I seen him in a different video. So,
you have a feeling somebody
see how he wears hoodies underneath his coats?
Maybe he didn't believe they were going to do that, but he believed that they would blow the whistle on him.
He's a farmer.
Setting up the alibi. He would obviously also know the lay of the land extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm sure he walked his dog on this property and down by that Deer Creek a lot. I do not have any idea why they didn't stick with him. But, you know, I wanted to show you something else, too. I think it's on this one.
Cell tower data that tracked his phone to the crime scene. Plus, investigators interviewed 2 women who had been in a relationship with Logan, and both reported that he was physically abusive. While investigators continue to track down leads, the community
kid's too young.
Given up hope. Posters remain in many downtown windows, a constant reminder of this unsolved case.
It just feels like yesterday. To be honest with you, I mean, 5 years is not a long time.
Oh, that must... I don't think that's the one.
It's in our faces every...
Okay. That I was hoping to show you. But, I think it's this one.
A shocking new twist in the hunt for the killer of those Indiana teenagers 5 years ago. It centers on this man, Ron Logan, who owned the property.
Listen to what he says and how he says it so calmly and coldly.
An FBI search warrant has just been released, revealing they searched Logan's home. Logan has been the focus of attention from day one. Inside Edition's Stephen Fabian interviewed him in 2017.
You just cannot believe this terrible thing that happened to the community and the families actually happened here on my property in my backyard.
He claimed he had an alibi, buying tropical fish 20 miles away.
Yeah, I was not home during the time that all this was happening. I was in Lafayette. Yeah. And I didn't get home till approximately 6:30 in the evening, and then the neighbor stopped to ask for permission.
Why worry about an alibi?
For the girls. Liberty German shot this chilling image of the killer approaching the girls on a hiking trail, and she recorded the killer's voice.
What do you hear on there?
Nothing that I recognize at all.
Oh, no.
No one. I don't recognize the voice at all.
Stephen asked Ron Logan to repeat those same chilling words. Listen.
Down the hill.
That's his voice.
The search warrant says Ron Logan's voice was not inconsistent with that of the person in the video. And that image of the suspect, the warrant declares Logan's physical build is consistent with the suspect. Logan had his own take.
The picture is of such poor quality, it doesn't look like anyone I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. They live there.
Of the true crime podcast, Murder Sheet. They obtained the warrant.
I'm not necessarily convinced that Ron Logan was involved in this. Some of the circumstantial evidence against him is intriguing and should absolutely be looked at.
Logan is now dead, reportedly of COVID. He was never charged in the case, and it is unclear whether he was ever considered an official suspect.
Yeah, well, I'll tell ya. In my eyes, he was an official suspect. I know that I thought for sure there was something else. You know, even the family is unsure, you know, because they've had so many different people. Oh, this is something important I need to show you. And this is the full timeline. Now, I want to show you something which is really interesting, okay? Okay.
So let me pull this up real quick.
This is their timeline. This is Monsters Under Our Bed. I recommend that you subscribe and you go there, and it's the mob crew. And I thought he did a really great job. And under fair use, I'm just going to use a little clip of your video. And so I just want to show you something here that I think is important.
Before I get started, there are some new
Join us.
Oh, of course.
As we work for a greener tomorrow together.
Oh, makes me want to just scream sometimes.
Just kicking it in my super luxe backyard.
Nice flex, Chad. Don't pose. Purchase.
Okay.
Started. There are some new updates. There's some updates with Kagan Klein about his charges, or some charges getting dropped, which is crazy. Which I think just adds more weight that there obviously is a connection between Klein.
So here they are, February 13th, 1:30.
Where it all fits. It's still, all the pieces are still just kind of coming one at a time, but I think that's huge news, and we'll look at that here towards the end. So starting from the beginning, February 13th, at 1:38.
By the way,
Libby.
This is Libby and Abby, the precious girls that lost their life to some monster. I believe they already had the suspect. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend people. I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. But I truly believe the evidence stacks up against him. But I will wait and see what the police are going to come out with this new guy. But these are the precious girls, and may they rest in peace. And my heart just breaks because of this kind of stuff. So remember them.
Abby would be dropped off at the Mears parking lot, which is takes them onto what they call the 501 trail. There's two trails. There's the 501 trail, which kind of runs along here, and then there's a part where it splits off, and that's the 505 trail. But they took the 501 trail. So according to the phone records of Kelsey, who is the sister to Libby, she had a call from her boyfriend at approximately 1:38, so that's kind of how they know that they arrived sometime around 1:38, or I guess you could round it up to 1:40.
So they got dropped off at 1:38.
So after being dropped off, the girls would take the 501 trail. Make sure you guys can see it okay here. Span this out. So they would approach the first part of the Monon Bridge at about 2:05 because Libby German would take a picture on Snapchat and it would be uploaded at 2:05. So assuming that they got there at approximately 1:40 and they approached the first part of the bridge at 2:05, that gave them about 25 minutes from this entrance at the Mears, which is kind of like a halfway point, to get to the first part of the bridge.
And look at how close it is
as far as the 501
to Ron's property up here. Look at that. Right here, where he could have got on. And another thing I want to say.
People say it takes approximately like a half hour to walk.
Did Ron did this other guy, Richard Allen or whatever his name is, did he really walk? Because this guy did a timeline and it would take him 30 minutes to walk there, okay? You gotta murder the girls, then you gotta wash off the evidence, then you gotta go all the way home. And I believe that Ron had the perfect opportunity because he's way closer. He's right by this halfway point right here where the girls, not far from where they got dropped off.
This whole 501 trail. So for them taking 25 minutes from halfway point, I think says that, they're just girls taking their time.
And so this is when Ron asked that his cousin lie and say that he was with him at the Tropical Fish World, whatever, from 2 o'clock or 2:05 until whatever, 2:30, 3 o'clock. Isn't that interesting that he pinpoints that exact window that he needed an alibi for, right? Yeah.
Probably, maybe Libby had her phone, obviously, so. But anyway, they would reach the first part of the bridge at 2:05, where she would take their first photo. Chris, I am still blocked from chat line. I did renew my membership.
Okay.
From chat.
Okay.
2 to 3 months. When that happens, it creates so many problems. Blocked? I don't think so. But I'll see what I can do after the show. I'm sorry that happened to you. So now there's platforms on this Monon High Bridge.
So here's Abby.
6. Take a look here.
And take a look, like he says. Oops. There's no one.
Zoom in here.
No
so
one.
As you can see, there's numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first picture was at 2:05, approximately at the first platform.
So here they are.
Now Libby is standing on platform 3, looking back at the direction they came from, takes a picture of Abby, and that uploads at approximately 2:07. And this picture has been, studied over 1,000 times by so many people. It doesn't look like there's anybody back there. There was some speculation that there's somebody standing behind this tree.
But how easy would it be for Ron,
came out has been debunked,
that knows the whole area? It's his property close to there.
Behind them. So they're halfway through the bridge at 2:07.
Okay.
It uploads a picture of Abby walking on the bridge via Snapchat. Both of these snaps were posted directly to Libby's story, meaning it was a post that was able to be viewed by anybody that was added by Libby's friends or Libby's added friends on Snapchat.
Okay. So look where they are. They're right here. Okay.
In a browser, seems me as subscriber.
Come on.
Post.
Sorry. Okay.
And as the girls reach the end of the bridge, and then learning from recent documents, this video that's taken of this BG, which is 1 second, it's just re-looped, starts at 2:13.
So he shows up. Look where he shows up. Here's where the bridge guy shows up. And look at, he didn't show up until all that other way. But now he shows up. Interesting. And they're taking a picture of him because he all of a sudden shows up. Okay.
He appears to be walking just at the platform 6 here. It has it real close, but I think he's at platform 6 when this video starts. Luckily, Libby, they call her a hero, which she is, because she clearly had her phone out.
Yeah, she was. I'm so glad she got
and
this.
Was able to record this guy. This would also, they would take audio from this video.
I'm sorry.
This is where we get guys down the hill. But I think guys and down the hill are taken. It's not together. It's cropped. I think guys was said when he was maybe 20, 30 feet away, approximately. Whereas when he says down the hill, clearly you can hear gravel when he says it. So clearly he's caught up to them.
See.
And he's escorting them down the hill, more likely.
Yeah, which is close to the end of the trail. So look how fast this happened.
I can't post. That's okay. Yeah, I will look into it after the show. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Thank you so much for the $5. But yeah, if you can, try to what the hell for the missing.
Sorry.
So moving on. So we'll just take a look at Google Earth here. So this is where they would have been dropped off. Oh, let me scale back the time so you guys can see. There, that looks a lot better. So as you can see, there's a little halfway point to put you on there. So it looks like they walked this trail. Took about 25 minutes. They approached the first part of the bridge. took a couple of Snapchats, and then when they reached the end of the bridge is when this guy showed up out of nowhere.
Right by his property, right there.
6 minutes to cross that bridge and catch up to him, or less than 6 minutes.
Less than 6 minutes.
So that's pretty impressive. Clearly, if it is Richard Allen, he did live close by. Here's his home right here.
Yeah, but...
And it's interesting that his... look up
here's
maps
his.
real quick.
Oh, boy.
We're back here now in Mexico. I'm ashamed to say that I've been with you for 12 years. And...
Okay.
Look up Google Maps real quick. The walk time. Sorry, let me zoom in. So the walk time from his house to this private driveway only takes 35 minutes to walk.
That's quite a bit for somebody to see you walk into there.
It could be a possibility. He could have came from the south end.
But where?
He's always been kind of that...
and then he walked back after the crime?
First and then turned around.
Or part where?
Geneva, thank you for everything you do. Blessing. Thank you so much, Geneva, for the $10. Thank you so much for the support and love. And Brandon, thank you so much for the $2.49 super sticker. Okay. Just get caught up. All right. Let me know how the chat is. I got it 10 seconds slow time. If it's too slow or too fast, let me know. Mods. So that would take him no time just to walk there.
I think that's quite a bit when you're going to commit a murder.
That's 5 minutes. So it would be...
but why not? Why not Ron when he lives right there where they were found?
You have Bridge Creek right here that runs. So you have Deer Creek here, and then you got this little creek, which is Bridge Creek, that runs along the south here.
I don't know. It just seems like
easily trekked through this without ever being seen.
Really, and then come back.
He is obviously an avid hiker from all the videos we've seen on Facebook, so he is at least in decent shape.
Yeah, well, Ron was too. Okay, it's just, I think that was...
the phone goes straight to voicemail.
I think that was it that I wanted to show you on this. You can go...
Take the same path from the mirrors.
You can go and watch this entire video. So, what I want to say is that, you know, he has almost the same exact voice Ron Logan does. He walks the same. I seen him in a blue jacket that looks just like the jacket that he had on that day. I mean, he's got a matter of fact, he's got a blue jacket on right there. But in this one, it's a hoodie with behind it. And I have no idea why. But, you know, he holds, I seen another video of him. I don't know where it is. But he walks with his hands in his pocket. And he holds his arms the same exact way when he walks. And he sounds like him. He has the same gait as him. And you know, I heard him say in one of his interviews that, you know, these kids were deviants. You know, that they were going to have a problem if they had that trail up there by the bridge, which is by his property, that they would have a bunch of deviants up there. So, you know, who knows how many times Ron spotted those girls. This is what I'm saying. He could have seen them all the time on that bridge, because he's right there. he's walking his dog. In the one, they got a picture of him walking with his dog. So, his ex, you know, like I said, they said he was dangerous and that if anybody did it, he did it. So, and I just think it's strange that he lied and needed an alibi before, you know, this even went on. And what I want to say is, well, why would Ron do this? Well, how do we know? Why do people do these terrible things? Maybe he couldn't get any kind of intimacy from women or his exes. And these teenagers, maybe he was into young girls. You know, maybe he's seen them around. Sounds like they like to walk that bridge quite a bit. So, and he knows his way. He knew his way to get up on that bridge pretty easy. So, I don't know. It's just, there's too much there. 15 different people gave tips about Ron and told them to look into Ron. I just don't know why they stopped looking into him and they wanted to get all these other people. I do believe that Klein kid, that he was, you know, he was texting those girls, but I don't know if it has anything to do with this at all, really. And I don't even know how Richard Allen fits in. I thought it was nice that he gave their pictures to him for free at the pharmacy. I mean, come on. The family lost their loved one. It was pictures of their daughter. Why wouldn't you give them for free? Seems like he would have tried to steal them or keep them if he, you know, because whoever did this kept a souvenir. You know, and it could very well, like I said, be Ron. And these are my opinions only for discussion. You know, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. And, you know, I hate to speak of the deceased that way, but, you know, if someone's guilty, they're guilty. And I am curious to see what happens with this new guy and with Richard Allen, to see if they got some kind of evidence on him, because I really don't know. I mean, you know, Ron's phone pinged at the same exact time at that location. How much more evidence do you need? You know, where the girls were on his property, his phone pinged there. He wanted an alibi for the exact time window that this happened to the girls. He walks like he talks like the bridge guy, and I truly believe he is the bridge guy. And I believe he, you know, how convenient for him, you know, if they were found on his property. You know, maybe, just maybe, Ron wanted that to happen. He wanted them to find him on his property. I mean, he was upset. He's like, why didn't you find him before? And I heard him in another interview saying, why didn't you, you know, you should have found him this, you know, before this, and blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. Sometimes I think that the police and people, when they try to solve these kind of cases, they like go way far into all these other ideas instead of looking right close by and looking at, you know, the person that's standing right in front of them. I mean, you know, they came and did reports with Ron because they found the bodies on his property, you know. You know, how do we know he didn't want some notoriety? Maybe he liked to do those kind of things. You know, there are murderers who actually find some kind of satisfaction from getting attention from the news and from people all over, all the media, because they're twisted. You know, this guy sounded like he had some problems before. And that a few of his exes accused him of being abusive and scary. So, and I just find it strange, very strange. That's all. I had to come on here and talk about it because it was driving me crazy. Because, you know, this is like the 5th person we've seen that, you know, has been arrested in Delphi for these girls. And, you know, it just doesn't seem, it doesn't feel like closure to me. And it doesn't feel like closure to their parents. I don't think so. They said that it really, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to think about this. You know, it's hard to believe. They're glad, but it's hard to believe. You know, it's hard for them. And I don't know how many other people agree with me. But I know that one man that did the interview the other night, the podcast with the police officers, he said that there's a lot of whistleblowers in the police that have said that they're mad and that Ron was the person who did this. So, anyways, that's all I need to come on and talk about tonight, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm sorry if the police just want to save face or just, I don't know. But at the end of the day, all that really matters is justice for Abby and Libby, because they're 2 precious young girls who didn't deserve what happened to them. And pray for, you know, everything to come about in a clear and right way in this case for these girls, for real closure. I think other people feel the same way as I do, that they did not feel closure inside, and they still don't. And I don't think the police do either, because they keep asking for more tips. So anyways, I hope all of you have a good Sunday and good rest of the week. And God bless you. And I'll be talking to you soon. I'll be coming out with a video on Summer Wells. So God bless you and have a good night. Bye.